I lied. This is Omega 99 Nemesis on my 8th episode of my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin lore play. Alright, so as the opening tag might have stated, if you watched my last episode, you might guess I was not done with item lore. For that, I do offer my condolences, and for that, you will find I will get my comeuppance very soon. For now, we will just deal with the Black Separation Crystal, shall we? A symbol of farewells that has been passed down since time immemorial. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes or sends you back to yours. Whether ending in hope or despair, encounters are valuable experiences. Beware fickle use of this item. From a gameplay perspective, if you summon another player or an NPC to back you up, you can, as a phantom or shade, you can use this to send them home. This can really tick people off, because it'll make them angry because it means they are not getting the full rewards they get for helping other people. And likewise, it's a very rude thing to do if it's a habit of yours to use this item. But if you need to deal with something and you can't have someone with you, this is a good way to just deal with it. It's not an ideal solution, but it's a solution. On a lore side of things, oh yeah, and on gameplay, on a side note, it works. I don't know how it works when it comes to invasions, but you should be able to use it, if I'm not mistaken. Invaders can use this to cancel their invasions. I don't know what happens to the cracked red eye orbs or the circumstances that bring them here, but there you have it. On a lore perspective, I believe this item is a relic of Grave Lord Nito, or possibly a regalia of Velka, the goddess of sin. I notice a lot of my theories tie to Velka, but I can elaborate on that as well at a different point. However, the reason I say Nito or Velka, and when I say Velka, that usually means that Gwendolyn is an honorable mention as well. But anyways, I say this because farewells is a key word in the description. It is a symbol of farewell and passed down since time immemorial. Since Nito is part of times immemorial, it wouldn't be a bad way to say, considering death is the greatest farewell. Now, I should also mention that in the lore of Dark Souls, phantoms are a system based on the convoluted time of the land, allowing you to get help from players across different eras. You could argue that this isn't Drangleic I'm in, this is just my own version of it, and so on. And then and that's why we see Drangleic. It's really a different country. We're seeing it as Drangleic because of a convoluted time frame that allows us to. But either way, it could be the phantoms could even be a sort of a visual allusion to our undead, but that's beside the point. Now, there's also a warning from the developers in this message saying, do not be wary of fickle use of the item. I don't know if this ties into just disconnecting without any incentive, but this might tie into using the Bone of Order if you use this item too quickly and so often. So I recommend that if you can help it, don't use this item. If you're invaded, take your lumps, it'll make you a better player. I wish I remembered to do that. And when it's done to me, when people disconnect when I try to invade them, if I try to invade them, I don't get mad because I understand why they would do this because I was on that side of it. But at the same time, it is something that makes you a better player. And yes, I've actually beaten back a couple of invaders and have felt pretty good about it. Now then. Alright. This is the last item, and it is now time for the brutal and harsh punishment of having to deal with all this item. You thought I was going to get a reward, didn't you? No, I've been putting you through this as much as I've put myself through it. So now it's time to get punished myself. I offer my apology. I did not mean. I lost a moment's worth of footage. In that chest was a rusted coin, by the way. I'm in the small tunnel that leads down past the bonfire. This is going to take us to the Forest of Fallen Giants, where, yeah, I probably should have gotten killed here. I'm not gonna lie, my friend and I had a laugh. He just it'll make sense. Any of you who've played through Dark Souls 2 but not gone through this game yet, this version of the game, will know exactly what I'm talking about, because I'd seen footage, but I was not expecting what I found here, and it was kind of funny when you think about it. Alright, so I'm going to hang a left here and shimmy slowly, if I can, down this ramp to get a piece of human effigy. Honestly, I'm going to need that if I know my luck. Alright, and then I'm going to make a jump here. I recommend not doing that, though. The jump is risky. But Homeward Bone and a soul item of some sort. Yeah, I take a minute and just stare at that going, what? And that's when I realized I didn't upgrade my Estus flask. I had one swig, and I'm thinking, oh my god, they changed the rules! But yeah, me and my friend laughed hard at this. I mean, I have a strong distaste for fighting ogres, in melee at least. I mean, I left the one in Things Betwixt with the stone ring because I wanted to get a pyromancer flame so that I could stand a chance. And even now, you're gonna see me bull rush to the bonfire as fast as I can. I don't want to fight that thing. It would hurt me, and it kind of does. Yes, I'm going to go back there and fight this thing. Have mercy on me, whoever's paying attention. But after I kill these two guys, I'm gonna rest at the bonfire to recover because I don't want to have to waste the Estus or the life gem. I'm still surprised I did so well. I mean, I even hit this thing and thinking, oh god, I can barely hurt it. I'm still standing here observing my odds when this guy sneaks up on me and I'm taken down. But yeah, I also don't know how much souls an ogre is worth on its own. So, you're gonna see me cut through this guy. He's not much of a threat. These guys I can make mincemeat out of on an off day. I can barely pay attention. The ogre, I hate and love From Software for adding this. Oh! Ugh, that hurts so much. But yeah, right there. That attack is hard to dodge if you don't know what to expect. Don't let that happen. If he grabs you like that, you're dead. But yeah, you can see him getting another solid hit on me, but when he does that, he does at times just fall down and leave himself vulnerable. I dodged him that time. I was expecting to die. But if you roll to the right side, you should be able to evade him most of the time, if not all. But don't let that that's if you're don't rely on it. Even if you see me do it, I've learned to get good at dodging. But even still, you're gonna see me make a couple mistakes. I mean, right now, I've got sweaty palms. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm gonna beat this guy. Oh, crap! And I'm freaking out. I'm just trying my best. That move I've never seen an ogre use. That's because I always fought them at range. Or that move. I learned a lot about them by having this happen. This was an impressively bold choice compared to how easy this area was before. And honestly, I probably should have had this before. Yeah, you can see that. I'm like, this is where, yeah, I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to win this. And just barely. I barely survived. Oh, and I didn't even pay attention to how many souls that was worth. Oh well, I'll probably check the footage before I do the next clip and, you know, editing. It's a wonderful tool. Alright, I'm gonna go to Majula now. Alright, I'm back in Majula to upgrade my Estus and level up. Now, you're gonna see me level up my Vitality a lot. I might even just decide to max it out and get it out of the way, as it's a stat I like to have a lot of. However, this is not something I recommend for people who aren't established players, who haven't gone through the works here. I know what I'm doing, and I know how to deal with these problems, and I also know when to call it quits, so I'm probably going to end up maxing out my own Vitality on principle. But for other players, if you're going to level up your character, I'm not going to give you any builds, but I recommend you consider several things. For starters, the first 4 stats that are key: Strength, Dexterity, Intelligence, and Faith. Strength applies to weapons that deal physical harm, of course, brute force, whereas Dexterity deals finesse, you know, daggers, rapiers, and so forth, stuff that I use. Then you have Intelligence, which deals in magic, and Faith, which deals in healing and lightning, mostly. Now then, in order to decide how to level up these stats, you need to decide what you want to be doing in the battlefield. If you want to fight with refined, you know, complicated or swift striking weapons that deal more precise damage, you go into Dexterity as a priority and focus less on strength. If you want to focus on big, heavy weapons, hit a bunch of enemies with a sweeping smash or something, go into Strength. If you want to cast a variety of spells to help allies from afar, Intelligence. And if you want to be able to heal yourself with a miracle or throw lightning or a force bolt, Faith. Pick 1 or 2 of these for priority and leave the other 2 at their baseline, if not much further than they already are. As you don't want to level up too much in a single field, at least when you're first starting out, because then you'll find yourself with a build that may not suit you. I know what I'm doing, so that's what I'm saying. Now, the second thing you have to consider is you can invest in 2 of these, like Strength and Faith to make a Paladin build, or maybe Dex and Intelligence to make sort of like an Arcane Assassin sort of build. Or Strength and Dex to make a very strong, rough fighter like my character, which is what I will end up with mostly. Or Intelligence and Faith to make a Hexer. But in terms of the other part of this, after you decide that, you have to decide what's more important, beating enemies into submission with weapons or blasting them from a distance with magic. If you choose the former, invest in adaptability, this will come in handy, and invest in attunement if you want to focus on spells, because they both prefer, attunement gives you additional spell slots, and adaptability paired with endurance makes you tougher to put down. And in the middle, endurance, vigor, and vitality should all be of concern for you. I'm going into vitality now, as opposed to later, for my own reasons. I also am fighting the ogres because I'm kind of getting a feel for how they fight in melee, so, I'm actually going to make a very interesting mistake. I might even do a how to kill the ogres video. I don't know, maybe. But for the moment, you're seeing me dodging this ogre, evading it. I also switched out my scimitar to my left hand and put a dagger in my right, simply because I found you can parry with curved swords in your left hand. That right there was the mistake. He could have that was an insta-kill. I don't know how I escaped that. I think it was a glitch or something. Meanwhile, I'm about to make a mistake I have made numerous times. I'm going to get aggressive. And right there, I just paid for it. I tried to go in because his health was low, and he ended up getting several good hits in. Now I'm going to get extremely desperate and go in for the kill. Alright. Soul of a Proud Knight. So that's what happened to the ogre that ate the Prince of all Saiyans. Alright folks, check back with me later if you will.